friends, looking at current affairs for 26th May, the news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 10. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, CBSE results will be declared on time, promises Javadekar. So this is Union Human Resource Development HRD Minister Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who has stated that CBSE results for class 10 and 12 will be declared on time. So these concerns have been raised presently because of a policy change of the board. So last month in April 2017, the CBSE and other boards had announced that they are scrapping this grace marks policy, the moderation policy in which these grace marks were provided. So grace marks were provided based on the difficulty level of the question. So this policy will be scrapped because what happened because of this is that students were getting higher marks. So the percentages were going quite high. The cutoffs for admissions were also going quite high. So to ensure that these grace marks are not provided, so this moderation policy, grace marks policy, has been proposed to be scrapped, but just last month, and it has been stated, means it was announced after the examinations were conducted. So in April 2017 means both 10th and 12th standard exams were already conducted, and this was announced and it was stated it would be effective from this year onwards. So then a PIL was filed before Delhi High Court, and Delhi High Court has ordered CBSE and other boards that they cannot implement it from this year. The policy is good, it should be implemented, but prospectively. Not for present year, but later onwards it can be done. So this is there because even the petition stated that students had already applied for even foreign educational institutions and they would be adversely affected. So this is the demand being made, and that is why the order has come forth. And now what will be CBSE's reaction, what action they would take was a concern amongst the students. So here the HRD ministry is giving a clarification. Then the next news item is prices of 31 more drugs capped. So this is regarding NPPA, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. So you should know about this body. It's the body established in 1997 by an executive order. It's an advisory body to the government who brings in price control for various medicines, drugs, etc. Even presently 31 more drugs have been added into this price control category. So even IUDs, intrauterine devices which are used for blood birth control, they have been brought in. Factor 8, which is a life-saving medicine for hemophilic patients. So hemophilia is a genetic disorder in which the blood does not clot after an injury, and because of this the blood flow, stopping the blood flow becomes difficult. So this factor 8 is a life-saving medicine. So on this also price control has been brought. Even morphine, a painkiller, rifampicin, which is a powerful antibiotic, all of them have been brought under price control. NPPA was very much in news even for the recent announcement of coronary stents being brought under price control. So this was a very prominent news. So you should know about NPPA specifically. They are the ones who implement the provisions of Drugs Price Control Order, DPCO, the latest one of 2013. Also, there is a national list of essential medicines which have been brought out in 2015, the latest one. So all these drugs will also be brought under price control has been announced. So this is the news. The next news item is Dholia Sadia Bridge, India's longest river bridge, inaugurated. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated this India's longest river bridge over Brahmaputra River, Dholia Sadia Bridge. So this will be reducing the travel time between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Also this bridge, which has been built with major steel supplier being State-run Steel Authority of India Limited, SAIL. So this bridge has been developed in such a way that even tanks can be moved over it. So this is a possibility because there may be quick requirement of troop movement, artillery movement in the bordering state of Arunachal Pradesh. So that is why this capability has also been provided to the bridge. And this bridge is the longest river bridge, even longer than the Bandra-Worli ceiling of Mumbai. So this bridge is 9.15 km long, which is 3.55 km longer than the Bandra-Worli ceiling. So now it is the longest bridge in India. It has been developed by PPP. So construction was going on since 2011. Next is net migration falls in Britain. So this is the data coming out from Britain, which shows that net migration means number of people moving out of Britain and number of people coming in. So the net amount. So net migration was always positive, but now it has come down. So it has come down to 2,48,000 because number of members of EU country members, they have all left UK now. So this is coming forth in news because after June 2016 referendum in UK, in which the people voted for Britain England to leave, UK to leave EU, the Brexit as it is called. After that, this is the consequence, impact of this. Concerns have also been raised because this will result in potential skill shortage in UK as well. So even a think tank here, Global Future, this is saying in its report that if the net migration figures of UK fall lower, then it would be very difficult. It has to be in well in excess of 2 lakh if the UK economy has to avoid catastrophic consequences. So this is also a warning which has been brought forth. Next is in-flight Wi-Fi net access soon. So this is regarding in-flight connectivity. Means within the flight in an aircraft, while the aircraft is flying, you should have Wi-Fi and in-flight connectivity. So this will be provided. This has not been provided in India. So in Indian airspace, it is not allowed. Even if there are foreign international airlines, even when they have this capability, they have to switch it off when they are over Indian airspace because it is not allowed in the country. So now the proposal has come from Civil Aviation Ministry that this should be allowed. So for that, the government will have to amend the Telegraph Act of 1885 and bring in related, Indian telegraphy rules will have to be changed so that this can be brought in. So then Wi-Fi services will be available online. Earlier on flight, Home Ministry had raised concerns about security agencies, how they will monitor the data and the voice transmission which will take place in the in-flight connectivity if it is provided. So this was the concern. But the benefits which will be there of this are that it will improve the safety and security of airlines too. It will give real-time data on latitude, longitude, altitude, even the speed as such too. So that will ensure better safety security of the flight. Flight monitoring data would be there. So this is in use, in-flight connectivity. Then next is service providers must shun discriminatory phone tariffs. So this is TRAI giving this statement. There was a complaint which had come to TRAI from Reliance Jio. It has stated that Airtel is having discriminated tariff because it has provided this free data for 12 months worth ₹9,000 offer, which has been provided to those subscribers who have new 4G handsets. Means old 4G handsets, in the sense 4G handsets which were earlier on Airtel network will not have this benefit, but new 4G handsets which are now becoming new subscribers of Airtel will have this benefit. So this is the discriminatory tariff policy against which TRAI was moved to, and now TRAI has stated this should not take place. Then the next news item is norms eased for RBI deputy governor. So for RBI there are 4 deputy governors, and there is a norm that one of these 4 deputy governors has traditionally been a CEO of a public sector bank. Now this norm has been eliminated in the latest notification, so there is no need for an experience as a CEO as a criteria for RBI deputy governor. So post is again open. So private sector bankers who have experience can also apply for this post. So they should be having 15 years of experience in banking and financial market operations. Next is Fed ties US rate increase to economic rebound, sees balance sheet cuts in 2017. So this is regarding Federal Reserve Bank. So this is the central bank of US. The way we have RBI, Reserve Bank of India as a central bank, in USA it is the Federal Reserve Bank. So now the policymakers here have to decide on the key policy rate, how we have a key interest rate, the repo rate being decided. So here also the key interest rate has to be decided. So actually the interest rate is quite low presently. Why is it so? We'll see that too. So now the interest rate increase is expected. So now they have said we are tying this, means we are linking this. US rate increase will be linked to economic rebound because it is seen recently US economic slowdown has also taken place. So if this US economic slowdown is temporary, a rebound happens. If the economic picks up again, then we will have the rate increase. So this has been stated in the recent meeting which was there. So minutes of that give us these details. Why are the US policy rates, key rates low? So you can see they are as low as nearing 0%. 0 to 0.25%. So you can see the timeline here. So it was in 2008, the global financial crisis, the period of recession, which was initiated in USA only. So you can see the key policy rates, they had gradually increased. They were high, above 5% here you can see. So then why did this policy rate come down in 2008 around this time? Because this was the time of global economic slowdown. So when there is an economic slowdown, what you require is the policymakers, the central bank, the government has to spur the economy. Means recession means people will not invest a lot. There will be not much economic activity taking place. So if the interest rates are low, then people will be willing to take loans. Otherwise, interest rates are high, then it is a burden for the debtors. So they will be taking that, loans will be taken, and there will be economic activity boosted. So that is why these key rates were brought down, and they have remained low. You can see now gradually since 2015 onwards, the interest rates have gradually been increased. So this slowly they are proposed to be increased. So now there is more increase expected. It has to go high again. So that is why the interest rate increase is expected. But then if recently too there has been economic slowdown in USA. So if this slowdown is not temporary, then they will have to stall this interest rate to that level. So this is the news here. Next is GST will help establish traceability of gold, World Gold Council. So this is the statement coming from World Gold Council, because GST will be implemented from 1st July. Yet the GST rate for gold has not been decided. We have been doing about GST rates been decided by GST Council. So around 1,200 goods, even services, all of them, the rates have been decided. But gold is also one commodity here on which the GST rate, taxation rate has not been decided. Though most of the states are demanding 5% interest rate, but then the gold producing hubs like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, they are not happy with this rate. They want a lower taxation rate. So we'll see that the rate would be decided, but gold is under GST, and this the World Gold Council is appreciating, because they say now gold traceability will also be there. Because as we have already seen, GST is a value added tax. So on every value addition, taxation would be there. Then all jewelers, even the jewelers in the unorganized sector, and in India, jewelers in the unorganized sector account for 70% of the whole sector. So that is why this will be a significant development. So now traceability of gold can also be made in this case. But World Gold Council is also saying that along with this, it's also important that hallmarking is also enforced. So the purity of the gold can also be determined. So this is also important. Also, it is known India is a huge consumer of gold. This World Gold Council report states that India's gold stocks is around 23,000 tons. So even our gold demand is quite high, and a lot of it is imported. 85% of our supply is imports, gold supply. So this is also there. Plus the maximum gold demand comes from South Indian states. So 40% account is from South, then comes West with 25%, and North and East later. So this is there. So we see even another point which is made is that the organized jewelers in gold sector are also increasing now in the last 5 years since 2002. Means from 2002 to 2005 actually. In 5 years too, their market share increased from 5% to 30%. So that is also projected to increase further. By 2020, they will be having 40% of the market share. And the last news item is Center alters definition of a startup. So this definition of a startup, which has been provided by the government under Startup India scheme, the concessions which have been provided to them. So for you to eligible to be under the category of a startup, what is required was earlier that it should be not more than 5 years old. It should be a new startup, means a new company. So 5 years was the maximum time. Then only it can come under the category of startup. But now it has been stated, this was a demand, we have discussed this in news earlier too, that startup demanded that they should have more time frame. So for in general too, they have increased the startup age as up to 7 years. So up to 7 years will be under the category of a startup, and for biotechnology sector it is up to 10 years, because biotechnology sector stated that for a startup here it takes a lot of time to actually gain results. So that is why our startup period should be more. So this has also been accepted and put into effect by the government, and this startup period for biotechnology sector is 10 years now. So none of them, 5 years has increased to 7 years and 10 years respectively here. Plus, second category still remains. It has to be having a turnover not exceeding 25 crores in the last 5 financial years. The third provision was that it should be working towards innovation, development, deployment and commercialization of new product, processes or services driven by technology or intellectual property. So of course this remains, but it has also added up that it should be having an entity which includes scalability of business model with a potential for employment generation or wealth creation. So this term has also been included under the definition of startup. So this is there. Plus also another requirement which was there for startups, that they should have a letter of recommendation from an incubator or an industry body for recognition and for taxation benefits as such. This requirement has also been done away with now. So these are the changes which have been made to startup definition. So this is very important. So that is it. These are the news items. Thank you.